Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to have a webinar. This is regarding Okta for IGA and the advantage of using YouAttest. So the focus of today's meeting is the advantage of implementing the YouAttest Okta-verified plugin for the IGA access reviews. Our panelists here today, well, first off, my name is Ashley Madison. I'm new to YouAttest, and I am the Customer Success Manager. On the panel, we have Garrett Grajek. He's our CEO. Tayyab Timur, our sales engineer, and Sherazam, who's our product manager. The agenda for today, we just went over the introductions. We're going to be talking about Okta IAM, what is it and why should we use it? What is IGA and why should I care? What is YouAttest IGA? What is the offering behind it? And how does it enhance an Okta deployment? We're also going to give a demo. We're going to have a Q&A, of course, with an open panel. So any questions you have, feel free to jot them down. And at the end of the presentation, we'll go ahead and go over them. Next, I'm going to hand off to Garrett Grajek, our CEO. He's going to be talking about Okta IAM, what it is, and why should we use it.
Good morning, and thank you, Ashley. And first of all, let's welcome Ashley. Ashley is now our Customer Success Manager. Glad to have Ashley on board. We've been acquainted for probably over a decade through past lives. So we work together closely. Anything said to Ashley about customer service gets back to me. So happiness. Welcome aboard, Ashley.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you.
Yeah, and greetings. That voice was Tayyab. It's a new SE on board too. So things are happening here in the world of compliance, in the world of YouAttest. Okay, a few words about Okta. Looked at the registration list. Everyone knows Okta in the audience. Okta is the premier IAM IDaaS solution on planet Earth. Identity as a service, practically invented for all practical purposes, keeping the identity in the cloud and then connecting those identities in a brilliant and simplistic way to all of your applications, basically called Cloud SSO. From there, they've expanded into wonderful things like 2FA, lifecycle management, some provisioning, and now with Auth0 CIAM, customer identity. Okay, what's relevant is Okta is the leader in IAM, especially Cloud IAM, but there's still a piece left. Next. That piece is identity governance. And identity governance is one of those things that's really, really misunderstood. So let's start with a definition. Next. Gartner defines IGA as tracking users allowed. What are they allowed to do once they gain access? Once they're granted access is actually better. Okta is that tool. Okta is a tool that grants access in the most beautiful, simplistic, and advanced way possible, granting access to all your resources. But that's not identity governance. And that's certainly not what the compliances are about. The compliances are about why did you grant, who did the granting, and who outside the Okta admin, one last time, outside of the Okta admin, who verified who had what. Next. And there's all sorts of compliance measures that use this. And I got list after list of these, starting with the healthcare for HITRUST, et cetera. The bottom line is the compliance measures all state that you have to have some mechanism that showed that someone reviewed who had access to what outside of the Okta admin. Next. The granddaddy and basically the template for all this is the NIST cybersecurity framework. NIST is a tool that NIST is an organization that the US government has for helping standards, etc. Well, they've led in cybersecurity and are really being used now. They have the cybersecurity framework 800-53 Rev 5, and the other compliance measures go off of it. Next. They spell out, straight out. That's why I'm just going into NIST, and then we can map it into the others. Straight out that you have to be doing access reviews. They say that in the PRAC-4 and PRAC-1. Next. What's really relevant, and has come up a lot in the hacks of recent, is that we're not exercising principle of least privilege enough. Principle of least privilege is the concept that we should only be granting rights to users based on the minimal set of access that they need. Privilege creep and privilege expansion is a real problem in enterprises today. And the way we mitigate that and contain that is having outsiders look at the privileges and say, wow, this guy's got too much privileges. Next. Okay, YouAttest IGA, great, that's great, broad. What is IGA? What is this? Now let's get down to how YouAttest solves IGA. That's all we do. First of all, that's what we do. We exist to create tools around simplifying compliance. What's really relevant to our consultants out there, we're focused on the tools. You're focused on the entire package. So we work with consultants very well. Next. The bread and butter of our existence is access reviews. What I was talking about. Looking at having someone outside of the Okta admin, or for that matter, any of the IAM admins, look what access have been granted, and then creating reports for the various compliance measures. Next. And let's take a second. Healthcare, straight out, has Hipaa HITRUST. SOC 2 Type 2, there you go. All the cloud ones are showing that they're secure. SOX 404, we do a lot of work for that. There are access reviews for the publicly traded. The ISO is also important. ISO 27001, showing that you can do international business, etc. We also do a lot of PCI-DSS reports, and the new one on our plate is reports for the DoD. Contractors for the DoD now need to submit CMMC reports, basically showing that they are enacting the right privileges. And of course, that is all based off the NIST CSF framework. Next. Okay, why does YouAttest exist? Good question. It exists to solve this problem. I went through the first part of this presentation to tell you why people are doing access reviews. Now understand that people are doing access reviews and they're spending too much time, straight out. Working with an analyst, we're gonna have a white paper out sometime this year talking about why we're being hacked. And one of the big reasons I believe we're being hacked is that our poor cybersecurity people who have the tools to look at, they could, the SIMs, they got the alerts, they got the triggers, but they're spending most of their time doing things like collecting data for access reviews for those compliances that I showed in the slide before. And that's a fact, and that's what I've been talking to my friends who are CISOs, et cetera. And that's how we came up with YouAttest, is to automate the process of collecting the data, collecting the reports, and galvanizing these reports into something that you can utilize in those compliance measures. And these are facts based on our customers, that we literally reduce the time of this process from weeks down to hours. Next. And we have a CPA certified report that we can help you understand how much you are spending on your access reviews and how much money you can save using YouAttest. And the funny thing is, who uses this is not the people who buy this product are the CISOs, the directors, ITs, the people who are collecting the data. They know they're spending too much time. They run this report to help the CFO understand why it's worth buying a tool. Next. Okay, we just get into our integration into Okta, and then I'll have my wonderful product manager, Shirazam, go into some special features for Okta. But first, a high-level overview. Okay, traditional IGA. Traditional IGA was, let's add a whole nother set of connectors, take those connectors, and then send that data and that information on-premise or in the cloud. We at YouAttest, we had the luxury of coming out after 10 years after Okta has been existed and dominated the world in IAM, chose this design. Next. Whereas if the data is already in, if the data we need to attest to what roles are out there already in Okta, let's do a secure manner, either through OIDC or SAML, and connect directly into Okta. And then work with the Okta team to grab the relevant data and then formulate it in a clean manner that makes sense to the internal and external auditors. The advantage of that is immense. It's one, I'm not adding extra agents to your enterprise, which is what SolarWinds showed us. More agents isn't always good. Let's have as few as possible, and that's what we're doing. And secondly, retention of data. The data's in Okta. Okta's amazing. They got all the certifications. We're just grabbing the information in real time and formulating reports, as you'll see when Tayyab does his demo. Next. We have three main features. I'm not going to go through all of them. The main one we're going to focus on is scheduled access reviews. But we got access requests and approvals. We've got something really cool, escalation triggers, that on events we can have real-time attestations of that event. What kind of events? Something relevant, like, hey, I don't know, someone got added to the admin group for Okta. Okay, we can attest to that in real time. And then lastly, scheduled access reviews. Next. That's the bread and butter, and that's what Tayyab was showing, right? Is that you can take your entire Okta infrastructure and other resources, get that information to us, and then we have a GUI quantified system that steps through the access review process, creates the reports, and allows you to submit that in hours instead of weeks. Next. And it's reasonable. It's reasonable to deploy. Literally takes minutes, what Tayyab will show you. It is inexpensive, $2 per user per month, and goes down in quantity, and it's reliable. It's right up there in AWS with secure plugins into the Okta system, and deploys in minutes and is really, really powerful. Next. Lastly, here we go. This is the way it works. This Venn diagram helps people understand. Left-hand side, IAM. That is the wonderful Okta tool, SSO, IDaaS, two-factor, moving strongly into things like provision and lifecycle management and CIAM. On the right-hand side is us. We're an IGA that plugs right into your infrastructure, deploys in minutes, and gives you these access reviews and identity governance you need to do business and to be compliant. All right, now let's go to some detail. Take it away, Ashley, and introduce Cher.
So next, we're going to have Cher Azam. Again, he's our senior product manager. He's going to be going over the key enhancements for IGA for Okta. Go ahead, Cher.
Thanks, Ashley, and welcome on board.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'll be going over a couple of features that we have within YouAttest right now. These are the main features, but I'm not going to be covering all of the features, but a couple of them on this webinar. So starting off with the audit-ready attestation campaign. So this is what we call auto audits, and we have like three major identities covered in these auto audits. One is the users, the groups, the application, which are connected within Okta tenant via an API integration. Also, we have a very friendly, user-friendly GUI, which allows the user to create a campaign and delegate it out, and for the reviewers to review the attestation campaigns. And then also the review can certify, revoke, and delegate further down to other members of their team. This is all GUI-based and ready to be connected with Okta and can be used for attestation campaigns. Next slide. Multiple reviewers. So the next feature, which is integrated with the auto audits, is the multiple reviews functionality, which allows the reviewers to test a single task, multiple reviews to test a single task. Also, there is an and an or operator in between to confirm if multiple reviewers or individual reviewer can just perform or complete the attestation task or a campaign. This really helps if you have a separate application owner or a resource owner to review your identities, and this greatly simplifies the manual process that the application owner or the group owner or the resource owner will review the identity rights of a campaign. This is all GUI based as well. Next slide. All right, so the next feature is the auto delegation of reviewers. So this features, what it does is this is connecting YouAttest with Okta, and what this feature does is capture and assign the users managers, which are there in Okta, defined there in Okta, and then automatically assign those tasks to those managers. This feature was asked by many of our clients to automate the way we delegate the users and their managers. And you'll see this live in action in a while when Tayyip is going to go over this thing in a live demo. Next slide. All right, scheduling. So this feature is also embedded in auto audits, and also it was recently covered in the user audits as well, which helps the admin to create and schedule a campaign right now, and then that campaign will run at a regular interval based on what exactly is being set, and this is usually done based on the internal or external audit requirements of our enterprise that we are working with. The schedule can be set to daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannually, and annually. So we cover all of these in our scheduling. And this really helps the user to just create and schedule campaigns once, and these campaigns are gonna be created automatically on these intervals, whatever is being set. And then they can be assigned to reviewers to get it reviewed. Next slide. Right, so the next slide is around the reporting feature, the advanced reporting with timestamps as to what exactly has happened within a campaign, and the user can see as to who exactly has been auditing the campaign, what they attested to, when was this done. Apart from that, we get a lot more details about the groups, the applications that are there, the review dates, the profile details, if there is a profile associated with in a campaign, the group details, and if it is an AD audit, which is one of the functionalities that we provide in YouAttest, then we get the status of AD as well, the user status within AD, and also if it is a service account, and also their last login date that we get. So we have this developed comprehensive reporting within our YouAttest platform now. This provides the user meaningful, interpretable information that they can use and track the visibility as to what exactly is happening and see to the changes in the user groups and their admins as well. So this is all, I suppose, from my end today. But from my end, this is what I do. I work with the customer to get their use cases. Should there be anything that you want to discuss, that is something we are not providing at the moment, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to Garrett, and we can discuss and talk about your use case. We will turn your use case into a feature in a matter of days in YouAttest.
And please take Shir up on that. He's really good at that. We listen, and as Tayyip goes, you'll see many of these features, our conversations our customers had with Shir that turned into product. Take it away, Tyab. Everyone's been waiting to see the wonderful GUI. It's all yours.
Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand it over to Tyab.
Yeah, that helps. Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get started. This is the YouAttest dashboard. Once a user or the admin logs into YouAttest, this is what they will see. And for this particular example, I'm gonna go over and guide you how to integrate your Okta with YouAttest, first of all. And that is basically a really easy step to get integrated with Okta. So what the user will have to do is just head over to the API integration section. And in this section, they're just going to select the add API. Then they're going to provide it a name. For this one, just say Okta demo because we're running a demo right now. So the Okta URL, that's actually your admin URL that's present on the top. And you're going to copy that before the dash till here and then paste it in this section. And after that, the third section asks for API key, which is actually really easy to get on the Okta. So what you're going to do is head over to the security section of Okta and then click on API. And once you're in the API section, click on tokens and then click on create a token and then just name it and then take it just like this one. Then just take it and enter it here and then click on save. That's all you have to do in order to get integrated with Okta. So that's the Okta integration part. Now I'm going to show you how a user can perform a review inside Okta and what's the difference between performing a review on UAttest compared to Okta. So let's just head over to the dashboard section. Okay, so the first thing is that for this example, we're gonna perform an application review and we're gonna see which users are, as of right now, are a part of that application or have access to that particular application. So for this one, we're just going to go over to the application section, and then we are going to be doing this for a Jira application. So we're going to type in Jira and then click on Jira. So once we're in this section, all the information that's available on Okta will be the names of the users with their email address. So this is basically it on Okta's side when you're performing a review. At this point, the user or the admin will have to send all this information via screenshot or email to the manager or to any other admin who needs to review these users. So that's actually very kind of hectic and time consuming for doing this, for all of the users that are, a part of this application. So that is basically made very easy in UAttest. And you can also see that if a user goes in and reviews all these users, there will be no paper trail or documentation of the steps taken or any a reporting made all about this. They can simply just take this information and post it in Excel format. That's it. So, but what UAttest does is, let me just jump over to UAttest and show you guys. So this is the auto audit section that Cher was telling us about. So here you can see that we have application audits, group audits, event audits, and user audits. So for this example, we're going over the application audits. I'm just going to be comparing both of those. So uh, yeah. So in this section, what we're going to do is in the application audit section, we're going to click on create new audit. And then we're going to select our Okta source. For this one, it's admin account for triggers. And then we're going to name it. So this one is actually for Jira. So we're going to name it Jira Demo 1 because there's another one that already exists. So, and then we're going to select the due date and then click on next. And in the search bar, we're going to type in the application's name. Once we've done that, the application will pop up and then we're going to click on it. And below, you're going to see an option that says import type, which also gives us another selection that says we can also choose inactive users, active users, or all of the users. So for this one example, we're going with all users. We're going to click on all users and we're going to click on done. So once that's done, you're going to see this line, your audit is in process, which means that the information is being pulled up from Okta and shared with YouAttest. So we're just going to go over and refresh the page once. After that, we're just going to click on the Jira demo that we created. And inside, you'll see the same 4 users that were available on our Okta: Sherazam, Bill Gardner, Steve, and Jason. So these are the same 4 users that we see here. And also one more thing, if you look closely, there is a bit of more information available for all of these 4 users. We can see their role, we can see their manager, and their job title as well.
And this,
So
what's really really relevant that Taya was showing here, and I just finished our RFI with the team yesterday, is many of these governances say, okay, someone outside the Okta admin is reviewing this. That's what an access review is. And what Taya was doing an amazing job here is showing you, yes, this is what the Okta admin sees, but this is what the reviewer sees. They have different set of credentials, different tasks, different groups, but this is required, and that's exactly what Tayeb is showing us and what YouAttest delivers. Thanks.
yep. So for going next, I'm going to show you how simple it is to get these shared over for delegation by a third member or a manager or another admin. So we have 3 different ways that we can send these for delegation. So I'm going to show you in this part. Head over to this select action tab and then click on delegate. It will give us an option to the add a reviewer's email, which can be inside or outside your company's domain, or any other manager who needs to come in and review this. You can type in their email, or you can assign it to a group that's a part of your company or outside as well. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to type in their group name and then click on assign. So once that's done, and then we also have a third option that Cher was also telling us before, the auto delegate feature. So what the auto delegate feature does is once we click on auto delegate, it will send out an email with a link for this particular user's to come in and review them. So the manager who's actually listed down here, he will receive an email if we click on auto delegate, and they will come in to review all of these users. So what we're going to do next is just to get to the next portion, what's going to happen next after performing a review. I'm just going to do all of these from my end and show you what happens next. So I'm just going to go in and certify these users. So click on apply. Once I've done that, you're going to see that the status changes to 100% and there is more information available as well after performing this action. So you're going to see under the object action reviewer part that it will say that I've certified these users, and it will also mention the name of the person who went in and reviewed these users. So here it says audit user. That is because I'm currently logged in as an audit user. So if you're logged in, it will simply say your name or the person who comes in and reviews these 4 users. And what's more important is that you're also going to see a timestamp when this review was taken upon and when this action was taken upon and who took this action. So all of this information will be readily available. And unlike Okta, you can simply go ahead and download this report in 3 different formats, or you can print it. So you won't have to share a screenshot of all of this information with anyone, and you will get a proper documentation with a paper trail, which is actually required when performing a review. So all of this is basically available for you on YouAttest, and it's pretty simple. So that's my part on today's demo. So back to you, Ashley.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Oh, and as I just say, so people, this is what's really important is Shira went over some of the key features. Taya went through a key part of the demos. Schedule a one-on-one because we understand your use cases and we'll map it into a demo and get you started. Okay, Ashley, thanks.
All right, can everyone see my screen again?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So thank you, Taya, for the demo.
No
So
problem. Thank you.
Our last part, my fault, 1 second.
Time for Q&A. Let's take those
Q-
questions.
All right. So in the presentation, there was a mention of triggers. So what are those? Share.
All right. So when it comes down to triggers, I mean, we have these triggers. These are event reviews which are a necessary part of a security and audit. This is exactly what we have provided. It's a real-time event attestation of a selected event, which are directly coming from Okta directories. These are webhooks. We have around 9 webhooks, and as a total, we have in those 9 webhooks, as a total 10 in each category. So these webhooks connect Okta with YouAttest should there be any changes in the groups or in any identities. We are getting those events in real time, alerts in real time. And also we are creating an event attestation when these changes are being implemented so that they can be reviewed once they are implemented.
Thank you, Cher. Tayeb, I have a question for you. How long does it take for the changes to come into effect after a user has been revoked on YouAttest?
Okay, so for this, once a user goes in and reviews, access for a person, and let's just say they revoke the user's access. So what's going to happen is it's not going to change right away. We have an execute button. Once they press that execute button on the campaign, that's when the changes will flow over to Okta, and that's when the changes will be made.
Yeah, that's a good point, Taya. I'm going to show you in a demo one-on-one that it says, okay, you want to make these changes, but it has a big actually do this button that makes, that allows you to quantify it and then go forward. Yes.
Yeah.
Garrett, I have a big question for you. Everyone cares about pricing. So you had mentioned competitive pricing. So what is the competitive pricing for IGA?
Yeah, so I'm not going to reveal any price list, but a competitor or that type of stuff, or I don't even say competitor. What I'd say is alternate way to solve the access review problem. I'll give you an example though. So we just won a deal. They had access reviews were front and center of the functionality needed to expedite the compliance process. A legacy on-premise solution gave a quote for a POC to just get set up to get the information into the system and to run the access reviews of 800,000. We came in to that deal literally about 20 times less with no deployment cost. So that's why if you need to do access reviews, you have to put us on the table and get a demo and let us POC for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Garrett. Tayeb, can we assign multiple users or a group to review users?
Yes, we can. Just like I showed in the demo, we actually have 2 different ways. If a person wants to go ahead and assign multiple users, such as managers, they can just type in the email address of both or 2 or 3 managers, or if they want to assign a group of reviewers, we also have that option. They can just tap on it and simply type in the group's name and assign the task to them.
Thank you, Tayeb.
Hey, Ashley, let's take one more and then we'll wrap this up. Okay.
Okay, I have one more for share.
Okay.
What about applications that are not SSO'd by Okta?
All right. So yes, if you have any applications which are not connected to any SSO or Okta, we can ingest that data as long as that data is in a CSV format. we can ingest that data. The user can map the headers of the CSV, and then we can create a campaign on that. So we have customers who told us that they have other identities which are not governed and which are not connected with Okta or any other SSO, and they wanted us to verify those identities and attest those identities as well. So we have CSV campaigns as part of our YouAttest offering. That allows the user to have a CSV. I mean, you can dump the file in a CSV format and then ingest that into YouAttest and create campaigns over that.
Yeah, and Ashley, let me add one last thing before we sign off. So we showed everything. We showed the Okta. Shira did a great job just telling us at the end that it's not just Okta. You can use other resources. In fact, most of our Okta customers do that. They say, here is the Okta stuff that's in there. Oh, I have these other on-premise ones, and we attest to all of it. Okay, the question that didn't get asked, but I'll answer, is what is for the future for us? Two things for the future. One, a lot of work being done with consultants on CMMC. That is huge. That's the U.S. Department of Defense, right? Is saying that our audience needs to do CMMC guidance, straight out IT access reviews for those compliance. Watch this space. We'll be doing some webinars and write-ups on that, working with great consultants. And we're taking this product and we're adding REST APIs into it to go into any resource available. All right, more fun stuff to come from YouAttest. But just let me say thanks for everyone being in the audience, and thank you, Ashley, for running through your first webinar. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yay, good.
Very happy.
Good job.
And
Thank
thanks,
you.
Tayyab. Great demo and good stuff, Shira. All the best. Redis people.
Everyone, cheers. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.